Okay, I'm Carson Overwood here with the Vroom vlog, and we're out here at the 2017 Tire Rack ProSolo up in Packwood, Washington. And we have Jacob Hartough with us here today. He's our 2016 Oregon Region class winner for the Trophy Challenge class. And I should mention it's Sunday today, so we've got 1 day of runs under our belt. And Jake is co-driving the Miata with me this weekend. But how are you feeling about your runs so far?
I'm feeling good. It's a fun car. It's a fun car to drive. It's a good mix-up from my normal front-wheel drive car. So I'm enjoying it.
Excellent, excellent. And you improved yesterday. You found some time in the afternoon. Clawed your way up the rankings a bit there, so that was awesome. But since you bring it up, just as far as compared to your Civic, what sort of differences? I mean, that's a big difference going from front wheel drive to the Miata.
Yeah, it's a big difference, but I think a lot of the same principles apply. Being able to, to get on the throttle early, all your basic principles, carry the momentum, maintain the grip levels with smooth transitions. So it's just a little bit more pronounced, I think, in the Miata. But yeah, it's fun.
Excellent.
I'd say I probably like the Miata a little bit more than this.
Right on, right on. Well, and you were here last weekend with Rio in his FRS, and of course that's got a little bit more power. But what was it like driving that, say, compared to the Miata?
The FRS is in the STX trim. I mean, there's more power. It's a lot stiffer, more grip. But when it goes, it goes. Versus the Miata, that has a little bit of an easier transition. It's a little more predictable, and it just has. You need to flow a little bit better with the Miata. At least it feels like it. So, I don't know. They're both fun in their respective regards.
Yeah, certainly. And just to give everybody a little bit of background here today, I mean, as far as where you found your love of cars, what sort of journey did you have that brought you here today racing out in Packwood?
Well, I've loved cars ever since I was a kid. I mean, I think it can be an acquired thing. You get older and you enjoy cars, you work on them, you find the passion. When I was a kid, I always loved them. When I went to the dentist, I can remember being 4 or 5, and it was, you leave the dentist's office and he says, okay, you can take a toy, and there's a yo-yo or a bouncy ball or whatever it was.
Sure.
And I always took the Ferrari sticker. There was always a Testarossa sticker there. Nice. Year after year, and that was always the one that I took. So, and just hearing the stories, I've always been into cars, so it was a natural transition for me, I think.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Did you have any background in performance driving prior to Autocross, or did you have any family members that were into racing or anything like that?
Not necessarily. A little bit, not necessarily though. I did a couple of Autocross events when I was about 19, and a couple of schools, a driving school and a couple of Autocross schools. So I did some stuff, but then I got out of it. I wasn't able to get back in Autocross for many years. I just had worked weekends, and the tracks were kind of far away, and it wasn't very accessible. My grandfather used to race Jeeps off-road back in the day, awesome. But he was the grandfather that I saw once a year. He lived far away, so
okay.
And I don't even know if I found that out until my 20s. So
yeah, not
really. Not a whole lot. No, it was definitely all new to me. I'd see racing on TV and I thought, this looks great, but I didn't understand the classes or any of the rules.
Right.
So it was always pretty foreign to me.
Right. No, that's about the same for me too. I mean, just kind of found it organically from loving driving and that sort of thing. But you have been doing this for about 1.5 years now. And what's your experience so far with Autocross specifically? I mean, any major points you can take away in regards to the cars or the racing or the culture? Is it what you expected getting into it?
I would say it's a little better than I expected. When I first did a few events, granted I was young and I wasn't nearly as social as I am now, but it was just very standoffish the first time. You know, I kind of went up there. I didn't know anybody, and I just stood up there and spectated. So I met a few people, but it was still confusing. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know how to really get plugged in. And so I think the group here in the Oregon region, and granted, like I said, that could have been me. It was a long time ago, but it's been very welcoming. It's just been amazing. I mean, I waited a long time to get back into it, so I'm very grateful to be here. But when you throw everything else on top with the culture that we have, the people that we have, the people willing to help and learning, and some good sights. So you throw it all together. It's been a great experience.
Yeah, I've had the same feeling. Very welcoming group of people, and made it easy to get into the sport.
Yeah.
So, as far as learning goes, you know, what's maybe one of the biggest things you've learned so far about autocross performance driving, and maybe one of the main things you're working on right now as a driver?
I would say one of the biggest things that I've learned is just that it takes seat time. It takes experience. It's one of those sports where it's not tennis. You can't go play after work with your friends. You know, you can't go grab some buddies and get a basketball game together, you know, to work on that. You really need the experience. And so I think we're alike in the sense that we want to learn as fast as we can and get as good as we can as fast as we can in the minimal time period, but it does take some time. So I think that's one thing that I had a little bit of a struggle accepting, but it takes seat time to really get good at it.
Yeah.
So I would say that's probably my biggest takeaway.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah. And I had same type of experience getting into it, jumping into open packs when I started, and you know, feeling confident going into it, and then you come out last place a few times and like, oh wow, there's more to this.
Yeah.
But you did do the starting line school this year, and how was that as far as learning? Was it pretty helpful, or what was that like, and would you recommend it?
The starting line school is great. I would definitely recommend it. The way that they set it up, the package that you get for the starting line school is, if you put it all together, the package alone is worth more than your entry fee, let alone the actual instruction, which is why people want to sign up in the first place. So they make it very appealing, and it encourages you to get involved more. You have a track night in America and ticket in there.
That is pretty enticing.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff, a couple of free events. So I really liked it for a couple of aspects, but as far as the schools go, I would recommend everybody get into as many as they can. I'm going to try to do at least one Evo School next year, if not a couple. I think it's like I said, you can't really substitute anything for seat time. You have to get out there and have the experience. You have to drive. And so doing the schools when you get these large amount of runs, I think it's pretty invaluable. Yeah,
even just being able to go out there and drill over and over.
And get different takes on it, different perspectives.
Yeah, certainly. That's awesome. Do you have any, as far as inspiration or looking at different drivers, say at any level, whether it's autocross or professional race driving, do you have any inspiration or heroes as far as drivers out there?
Not necessarily. I would say I probably don't, just because I didn't follow racing for a long time. I always loved it. I just didn't necessarily follow it, you know, watching it on TV and everything. Sure. I like Formula One now, but as far as local people, really just anybody. If you're faster than me, and I can learn from you, and they're willing to help, I mean, I would say that's somebody I want to hang around. You know?
That's the guy.
It's fun to meet those people. It's fun to get advice from those people and sort of dissect all of that information. You get that melting pot of all this advice and different perspectives, and really see, well, okay, this works for me, this doesn't, because everybody's different at the end of the day. Everybody has a little bit of a different style. And and no, that actually flows right into my next question, because you've actually hopped in quite a few different cars at this point. Do you feel like you have a specific driving style as you know, I know it's only been a year and a half, going on 2 years at this point, but
Are you really aggressive driver, or do you see yourself as kind of a smooth momentum driver, or are you still developing that type of style?
I would say I'm probably still developing it. I don't think I have one yet. I don't think that I have enough experience when you're still trying to put everything together. It's like, say if you were an author, right? It takes a while to find your voice. And so for a while, if you read a certain type of author for a while, you're going to write in the same context.
Sure.
You're going to have that same voice, same similarities. And so I think it takes a while of trying other people's advice, trying different things to really develop it. And I don't think I'm there yet.
Yeah.
I'd love to be, but I don't think I'm there.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, and people got to realize it takes time to really find your own type of style of driving that really works for you and makes you fast, because there's different ways to be fast out there on the course. So,
which is, I think, one of the most interesting things.
Yeah,
because it's true, people drive differently and they'll run the same times and they have very, very different styles in the same car.
Right. And as far as cars are concerned, I mean, do you have plans for the Civic here in the future for autocross, or going forward, like what are your goals as far as maybe what class to fit into and that type of thing?
I would like to the Civic's been fun. I like where it's set up now, but I would like to get into something different, preferably rear-wheel drive in the street class. So I don't know exactly what. Miatas are fun. They are fun. With these days, with the big power cars that can brake and handle, I find those are probably the most appealing for me. But we'll see. I don't know what I'll end up doing. But I'll probably change in the next year or two.
Well, you're in a good spot right now. Being able to jump around different cars and really get a taste of how they feel, and then make a decision from there.
Yeah, I'm grateful for the chance. So I'm glad we have people like yourself who will let me jump in their car and ring it around for a bit.
Anytime, man, anytime. So as far as beyond this season, do you have any goals as far as autocross is concerned, or maybe performance driving in general? Like what are you working towards here in the next year or two?
That's a good question. The progression for me, I want it to be there. I want to continue to get more involved in the sport. I've loved racing for so long, and I've waited so long to actually get involved that as much as I love autocross, I want to do track days. I'd like to get into some time attack stuff, whatever I can do. And right now I might not have the means for it. I don't have the car. I don't, the garage space, those kind of things. But that's the goal. The goal would be to eventually get into some track racing. Yeah.
That was one of my original goals as well with the Miata, bought it with the roll bar, so I could take it out on the track and stuff like that. But as far as looking to the future and that sort of thing, I guess I should mention you just got married, and congratulations, by the way. Yeah. If you don't mind telling us a little bit about Antoinette, is she supportive of this racing endeavor of yours?
She has zero interest in cars and zero interest in racing, but she is supportive. She's definitely supportive. I'm very grateful for that. That'd be a big hurdle if she wasn't. So it makes a difference. And it's always, she might come out, she comes out to some of the events, and when she does, it's always more fun. And so now that we have, at the last event she came out to, she was able to log into the live timing and some of these things that the SCCA has implemented that, people might say they're great, but some of these elements really are encouraging other people to actually come out, because for her, all of a sudden she had this interactive way to participate. And so, without knowing a lot about what I'm doing out there, she's able to break it down. What's black and white? What place am I in after each run? And it was getting updated. So there was a level of excitement that she had there, which just made it that much more fun for me as well.
That's awesome. That's a good point, that they're giving people more ways to take part in the action and keep their eye on it. So that's cool. I'm in the same boat with you, by the way. I got Amy to ride with me once in the Miata, and she said never again. So
you should have taken her a lot slower.
Yeah, go around at half speed.
Yeah.
But she is supportive, so that was nice. And then just looking ahead a little bit, I mean, are you wanting to, as far as autocross is concerned, I'm curious if are you wanting to drive more national level events like the Pro Solo here? Or my last interview was down at Crow's Landing with Dan Bullis and talking about the difference in grip and stuff down there, and just the whole scene is pretty amazing down there. It kind of gets you
different.
Yeah, it gets you a little more prepared for nationals.
Yeah.
But are you wanting to do that type of thing as well, or really going straight towards track type of stuff?
No, the autocross stuff is, I don't know when I'll be able to get involved with the track stuff. So as of now, I want to focus as much as I can on autocross, and then eventually make the transition when I can. And even maybe continue to do autocross. We'll see what happens. But as of now, I want to plug in as much as I can. The national events are definitely on my list. I'll make all the ones I can here. I won't be able to make nationals this year, but next year it's on the docket. So, I mean, the plan, if I had it my way, I wouldn't miss an event next year. I'd hit all the nationals and our local national events here, the Pro Solo and the National Tour, and then all of our regional events as well.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, just to kind of wrap things up here, what advice would you give other new drivers that are just starting out, just getting into the sport, maybe not quite sure what route to take, and that type of thing, just new to autocross?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's one I asked a lot, back in the day, and then when I got involved again last year. Yeah. I think the biggest thing is just to get out there. Get out there, even if you're spectating, and start talking to people. And now, you can email somebody, you can reach out in a lot of different formats. You can get on the Facebook page. There's a lot of ways to plug in and just start to make those connections, and then get that guidance. I think a lot of people, it's so foreign that if you don't, I know when I got into it, not knowing anybody in autocross, I mean, it was, it was like deciphering hieroglyphics. I didn't even know where to begin.
Yeah, so, it's a little overwhelming
it can be,
sometimes.
Yeah, and you can have great friendly people and everything, but still, the biggest thing is, I think, just getting out there, and even if you don't plan on driving, just go out there, start talking to people, and get involved.
Yeah,
because it just becomes easier from there. And especially as you continue to learn, you get out. In the beginning, it's like anything else. If you're weight training, you get really sore in the beginning, but you see these big gains and a lot of progress. And so the same thing at autocross, getting faster as quickly as you do in the first year or even more, you're always progressing. It's very encouraging. It encourages people to stay in the sport, and it makes it fun.
Excellent. No, that's great advice. And just wrapping things up here, anybody you'd like to thank, or anything else before we get out
my
there
wife.
And go racing? That's a good one.
I have to thank my wife.
Yes.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
I would say, in addition to her, just everybody else in the Oregon region, and other people involved in it. I've reached out to people at the national level, even met a couple of people from the national office this weekend, and everybody's they're so nice, they're so helpful. I don't know, it's been a great experience so far. Everybody who's helped out, everybody who's willing to help, and especially, I would say, a special shout out to a lot of the people who are involved in the sport from all over the country that put out some information like this, who do the vlogs, who do the blogs, who post just their runs on YouTube. We have Andy Howe here, who wrote a book. Everybody who's putting that information out to make it a little bit easier for everybody else to access, and not just get involved, but continue to improve, so we do have a higher level of competition moving forward.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's great. Well, thanks for your time, Jake.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
Good luck out there today. Hopefully
right.
we can pick up some time.
Yeah, keep learning.
All
Go
right.
faster. You can always go faster.
All right. We'll see you guys in the next episode.